What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday. Was it March 11th?
March.
Fuck. God,
March.
Goddamn time is gone.
It's
May
fucking
11th.
May.
Free agency's coming up.
Yeah, no shit. It is episode number 17 of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. We're going up on 20, Keith, man. So that's something. We're still kicking it. I'm here with my co-host Keith Gray. You guys know him at KG Skins 26, the Washington Twitter troll. And we'd like to introduce our new contributor to the podcast, John Tayman. Y'all know him at Bang Radio Hour. John, thanks for coming and joining us, man. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. I'm here to assist once you guys get to 20 so that we can continue the count. I know that it's going to be, that's both of y'all's hands right there. So
yeah.
We're going to at least be able to get 30.
This is helping us out. Keith, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Just trying to get over this whole kitchen situation, man. So many choices to choose from. Don't know if I'm going left. Don't know if I'm going right. And then my wife and I have different tastes, man. So it's nice to be able to get on this podcast here and not have to think about it. That's for sure.
But your wife, I saw that she's letting you lay the wood. Is that correct?
Yeah, not sexually, that's for sure.
Oh,
I thought you called that the Sasquatch or something.
Yeah,
the Caucasian Sasquatch.
What's going on with that? Well, at least you got to pick the floor, and the floor looks good, at least by the pictures that you showed us.
Yeah, well, that's also changed too. So
shit.
Man, it's changed like 4 or 5 times. You listen, don't believe shit I say on Twitter. How about that?
I hear you. Well, actually, there's not a whole lot going on in Ashburn Park, but we got to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We got to talk about the O-line help. We're still looking for O-line help, and then we're going to look behind enemy lines. We're going to kind of compare the Washington's offseason to what Philly, Dallas, and New York has done. And then later on the show, we have the Keith's Corner segment. I know our listeners enjoyed that. And then I also have a little rant myself later on. So let's start off. Obviously, the big topic on Twitter the past few days is Aaron Rodgers, potentially trying to trade for good old Aaron Rodgers. John, I want to start with you first, since you're the newcomer. What do you think about having Aaron Rodgers come to Washington?
I think it's about as likely as Superman coming to Washington.
You're probably right about that.
This is the thing, man. It's this time of year, people get this inkling in their head. Adam Schefter dropped some bullshit news on draft day, and all of a sudden, everybody's convinced that he could come here right away and win a Super Bowl, which is, he probably could, but that he's coming anywhere. If you were the Packers, would you get rid of Aaron Rodgers? Would you let him walk out of there?
No,
I would do everything humanly possible to keep him in Green Bay. That's for damn sure.
I mean, wasn't it reported today that they're offering him a long-term contract? I mean, it didn't say if he's accepting it or not, but I don't know.
The only thing I can say to myself in that regard is that they let Brett Favre walk out of there.
That's true.
So, who knows what they'll do. But so far, Russell Wilson wanted to be traded. He's not getting traded. We saw that Deshaun Watson wanted to get traded. We found out a whole lot of stuff about Deshaun Watson. He's not. Aaron Rodgers wants to go somewhere. Whatever. Everybody get on the bus. You're not going anywhere. So that's what I think about it. People are making all kinds of mountains out of molehills, basically, which is pretty usual for our fan base.
Yeah.
Keith?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. First of all, a lot of people don't, pay attention to the fact of, even if he gets traded, he's going to have a say-so on where he wants to get traded to. Doesn't necessarily mean Washington football team is going to be the place, right? So that's one. And that's two is this always tells me that either you're unhappy or you're looking for leverage with something, with contract, with money, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is going to still be a Green Bay Packer. I mean, don't we find it slightly interesting how that news was dropped on draft night?
Yeah.
Adam Schefter's got a living to make too, right?
Right.
That's true. It's kind of funny. I don't know if you guys heard it, but Schefter went on the Dan Patrick show and he kind of came back and he said, well, it wasn't, he didn't talk to anybody from Green Bay. It was just nuggets of information that he accumulated, which was kind of not Schefter like that he did that, and he dropped it. I know when he dropped the news, I think it was J.C. Horn was getting drafted at the time, and his parents were pissed off because it kind of took the spotlight off of the kids that was being drafted. Do I want Aaron Rodgers here? The short answer, fuck yeah. I mean, shit. We got a decent defense and we finally got some weapons. But I understand some of the skepticism that people on Twitter are having. And there's been, as Twitter does, there's a lot of infighting with fans right now.
Really?
Yeah. But I do
Well,
understand, there's questions that would need to be answered if, and that's the big fucking if the Green Bay was to trade Aaron Rodgers. How long is Aaron Rodgers plan on playing? He's 38 years old. Yes, we saw Tom Brady win the Super Bowl last year, but they should not be mentioned in the same sentence. Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady. He doesn't have that fucking fire that Tom Brady has. He doesn't have the 7 fucking Super Bowls that Tom Brady has.
He does have those sleepy good looks, though.
That mustache, when he grows it out is pretty cute too. I gotta say, I think mine's looking pretty decent too. Would Ron Rivera and Aaron Rodgers mesh? Aaron Rodgers seems like a guy that wants to take control, especially of an offense. He wants to have say on, who he wants to be on the team. I don't know if they would mesh very well.
Well, listen, with a quarterback, there's only a couple things that they need that's going to help them mesh. They need wide receivers / tight ends, and they need money.
That's true.
So
look, the weapons we have, look what he does with the guys that are up there. I keep hearing how that the Packers, they don't supply him with any wide receivers. They don't give him many high picks at wide receiver. Devontae Adams is what, like badass dude number 1? Right?
He's a top 5 receiver, hands down.
And it's been like this through the years too. It's been
right. He doesn't need a first round wide receiver. He doesn't.
He's making receivers number 1 receivers, guys that you would never think of. I mean, Randall Cobb was one of them. Jordy Nelson. Yeah. So, I mean, again, elite quarterbacks find the best out of their wide receivers and utilize that. So that is one of the reasons why I would say that I think he would be a great fit here in Washington, because of course I do believe that we have the receiving core that he can, make better.
Yeah. We've also got the backfield. We've got Aaron Jones is one of the best backs in the league. That dude's a pop, man. And we've got equal, I don't know necessarily equal, but we've got just as much speed coming out of the backfield that can catch as well. Yeah. I think he would flourish here.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely do.
Which is why I say, if you had the opportunity, you damn sure make that move.
Yeah.
And you do what it takes. And, with a quarterback that's elite like that, in my opinion, you're going to give up draft picks. You're going to give up, a sizable contract. But guess what? You're at least solidified, in my opinion, for the next 4 to 5 years.
You would hope so. Now that's where a question lies. You had to have a serious conversation with, or at least Ron has to have a serious conversation with Aaron Rodgers. How long does he plan on playing? And they need to have a serious answer.
How old is
he? If he's 38.
He's 38. He's younger than our quarterback.
That's 20. That's 22. Yeah, I was gonna say that's 22 in quarterback years.
Right. I guess nowadays, you're right about that. But I if I was Ron, I'd want at least a 3-4 year commitment from him.
At least.
Of course. I really, especially with the amount. I mean, we're going to give up two 1s, 2 2s, and possibly a defensive starter. Yeah, I want at least 3 years from him. I want 3 good years. That's 3 opportunities. But if he, is teeter-tottering on maybe possibly retirement in 2 years,
He's got other
That's
options.
pushing it, you know.
Which I don't think he will, because again, if you come to a team where you're winning and you're trending upwards every year, winning, and you're at least being competitive, I think that's enough to keep him in. And then if you get a chip within the 2 to 3 years, that's going to convince you to stay. It's why these guys like Breeze and Brady can't leave, because they're always there competing.
Mhm.
There's always that 1 or 2 game difference that keeps them either in it or out of it, and if when they sit in the offseason and they talk to their coaching staff and they talk to the ownership, and they see, okay, this is the direction that you're going, it's easy for them to make a decision. We're looking at a young team that's trending upward.
Absolutely.
On both sides of the ball.
For sure.
Right.
Now, the question really would be to Aaron Rodgers. Look, I mean, this guy is a hero in the regular season. Dude is badass between, September and December. And then what happens?
Yeah, he's gonna win he's gonna win you 11 or 12 games year in and year out.
Well,
right. He tends to get in the playoffs and things don't work out.
That's true. Yeah. But also at the same time, I don't think his teams, and I could be a little off on this because I wouldn't say this is pure facts, just because I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't know if he's had a type of defense.
He's had decent defense.
He's had some decent ones, sure.
He's had some decent.
Sure, I could be totally off, a little bit off base when I say that, but I also think that our top 5 defense is going to move into that top 3 as we continue to keep going. And I mean, anytime you're out in the public right now, and it just happened to me today, okay, a guy who came in who was doing measurements for our cabinets. He's an Eagles fan, naturally, because I live.
You met him in your house.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I didn't know until he came in. He saw my Redskins shirt. And so anyways, the first thing out of his mouth was, you guys are going to be good next year. You guys got a hell of a defense.
He doesn't want to get fired.
Right.
Smart guy.
Right.
Well, we hope so. It's going to be. I think our defense got better than it was last year. That's for sure. It's going to be interesting to see. We're going to be playing some high-powered offenses this year. I think our defense came on in the second half of the season last year. But that's a plus. Even though we played beat-up teams, they still took care of business. But we got better. We got better at cornerback. Yep. We got better at linebacker, and we added some rookies that could definitely help out. And it's the second year in the Jack Del Rio system and Ron Rivera system, so that's only going to help out. I think this would be probably one of the best teams if Aaron Rodgers had a choice to leave. I think it's between us and the Denver Broncos, to be honest with you. As Denver's like us, they have weapons on offense and they got a really, really good defense. They need a quarterback. Drew Lock's just not doing the job, and it would probably just be a matter of who's going to offer Green Bay more. This is all hypothetical. Obviously, this probably will never happen. This is just the topic that's being raised, and many fans are blocking each other over Twitter fucking wars because they're fucking idiots. Anyways, go ahead, Keith. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I don't think enough people talk about what type of conversation did Ron Rivera have with Ryan Fitzpatrick, because mind you, before this Aaron Rodgers news came out, what kind of conversation did he have with him? I mean, is he going with the whole, it's a quarterback competition, even though we all know Fitzpatrick most likely, it's not a real competition. So is Ron Rivera, would he feel comfortable trying to bring in Aaron Rodgers right after, after he says, hey, Ryan, if you're still interested in playing in the league, we sure could use you, because our roster sucks.
Fitzpatrick would have to be part of the deal. You can't keep. Green Bay is going to need a quarterback, obviously, and whether they go with Jordan Love, they do got Jordan Love, but I don't think they have anybody behind him. So Jordan Love and Fitzpatrick could duel it out over in Green Bay, but the Fitzpatrick would have to be in the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You about his feelings.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
that's the chance. Games for Aaron Rodgers.
Fitzpatrick, Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, I don't care who the fuck who feelings aside. This is a business, and this is a business of trying to fucking win. And they're going to put Ron's going to put the best players on the field, no matter what. I mean, feelings can only go so far in this business.
I get that, but I still believe that there's a human side of the business, even though they hide that. And
the part of it that gets all broken up and torn ligaments and all that stuff.
Right. Well,
yeah,
we'll see.
That shit happens.
I don't think there's any quarterback competition here except to find out who's not going to be on the roster.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got 4. We've got 2 extra roster spots because of the 17 games this year.
I think
57.
so. I think you're right. Yeah.
55. All right. So
it's 2 extras and then 1 extra offensive lineman. I think it has to be. You have to have one of the extra spots is for an offensive lineman, I guess.
Well, I know practice squad has 2 extra slots. I know that, but you're not going to be able to float Heineke on the practice squad.
Nope.
The second
someone's going to pick him up. I think Allen would be the odd man out, to be honest.
Yeah, but he doesn't qualify for the practice squad, and we all know if there's one person I think you could catch Ron Rivera in a small closet with, it's going to be Kyle Allen.
Now listen.
That's true.
He loves that.
Now
those
look,
are facts.
I think
he loves that.
Did they go back to the original rules, or are they keeping the practice squad for veterans like they did last year?
There's a cutoff as to what you have to have accomplished it's like if you are a starter for 5 games, which he's been, all right, in the league, at least 5. He's been a starter, I think, for 8 games. So I don't think he qualifies at all. Plus, it's like his 4th year. I looked it up the other day.
That was I know they made exceptions last year. I didn't know if they reverted back to the older rules as far as the practice squad goes.
No,
I don't know.
If anyone's going, it's Steven Montez.
Oh, I think Montez is going anyways, to be honest with you. I've been saying that unless they're going to keep I know Ben Standing had put out there might keep him in a role like a Taysom Hill, which I just don't see it.
I doubt it.
I don't know why he's still here, frankly.
Right. Well, you were
why
breaking up.
time?
Yeah, I think that's just ridiculous. But
unless they do plan on putting him on the practice squad again, because he would definitely qualify.
They could. I don't know. He when he was about to go in that playoff game, he looked like he shit his pants. So I don't know.
I think he did. He just didn't have the right camera.
All right. So is that a yes on wanting Aaron Rodgers? We're putting this to bed. Let's get him.
I'd take him.
Yeah. What would be the most you'd give up for him? Like, what would be your limit?
I don't give a shit. Give the first and the thirds, and I don't care. Just if you're going to get 4 years out of him, in a sizable contract, give some first and thirds. And I've seen some scenarios out there where people are actually adding a player in there. I don't think you need to do that. I don't think that's necessary. Just give up some draft picks and move on. You know what you're getting out of Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
Right. If you give up 2 first-round draft picks, it seems like a lot. 2 second-round draft picks with it seems like a lot, unless you come away with a guy like that where that first-round draft pick is easily justified.
Well, and that's the thing that I was going to add too. I mean, did you look at everyone's Twitter on this draft? They were willing to give up 2s and 3s and and 1s and multiple 1s and multiple 3s for a quarterback that is even uncertain. A rookie. So if you're absolutely. Yeah. But if
except
you're
willing, for you, except for you, that guy right there, and you too, lady, you're not.
Yeah, I just listen. I think I think if you're willing to give all that up for some uncertainty, then you damn sure better give all that up for an elite QB.
Yeah. I tell you what, if you want to do the quarterback thing for a minute, I'll tell you this. I think that the craziness about first-round draft pick quarterbacks, and oh my God, the hype. I think the 49ers' ass is hanging way out in the breeze with Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I think that the hype is soon going to maybe die down a little bit because everybody is so convinced that, you need a franchise quarterback that's going to last for 12, 13, 14 years. And, okay, the Packers have won. What have they won?
Right. And,
okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish your
What
thought.
I'm thinking is this: the hype to grab one of these guys early. Oh, we have to have a pick in the top 5 to be able to get one of these guys, or our whole life is going to suck for the next 10 years. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. now what we're seeing because of the slotted rookie contracts, we're seeing teams that are much more willing to let these guys go after their fourth year. The fact is, bad team equals high draft pick, equals quarterback makes mistakes, and then boom, the whole thing blows up. His coach is usually fired. He's gone. You're going to see more Ryan Tannehill stories out there. There's guys that are becoming available that are much more available, much more frequently, that are going to be able to be good reclamation projects. And that does not go for Sam Darnold. That guy's a fucking bag of potatoes, and I'm going to go to my grave saying so.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you on him.
Yeah,
no, I think you're absolutely right, John. I do. I just think, there's good quarterbacks that come out that just get placed in wrong situations.
Most of them.
Like a Tannehill. And, we could very well find one of those. I don't think you need to cut off your arms and your legs to get a quarterback. I think you can find one. Unfortunately, our fan base, we've been looking for one for 30 plus years now. And we're impatient as hell, and we're willing to sell the farm to just get a semblance of a franchise quarterback. And I don't think it matters to most fans what we have to give up.
Well, and also to add on to that, Jesse, I mean, honestly, the last franchise quarterback we had was Joe Theismann, and Joe Theismann was definitely before, your time, my time.
Yeah.
I saw him his whole career.
Hey, I've met him a couple times. Very nice guy.
Look, I had this discussion with a friend on Twitter the other day about it. He says Joe Theismann was not a franchise quarterback because he only 6 years. I don't care. Yeah. Look, in 6 years, he did the same thing Aaron Rodgers has done. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers has 2 more MVPs, but only 1 Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Joe has 1 Super Bowl, 1 MVP. And he's telling me Gibbs is the winner, and I agree. These are quality points. But when you look at what is the definition of franchise quarterback? If you've got Aaron Rodgers, you say he's a franchise quarterback. He's going into his 17th season, but he's won 1 goddamn Super Bowl, right? Yeah. If you look at the history of the Washington Redskins football team, we've never had a quarterback that was a starter for more than 10 years, and that was Sammy Baugh, right? Billy Kilmer was 7 years. We had Sonny Jurgensen for 7 years. Joe was 6 years. And then we have just a load of 2 and 3 year wonders.
Right.
So,
and 2 of them won Super Bowls.
Right. I think Brady has really thrown everything out of whack because we have a whole generation of kids these days coming up believing that shit's normal, and it's not.
That's true.
We're never going to see anything like him again.
Yeah. You're absolutely. He's a unicorn. He's the fucking unicorn of the NFL.
Franchise quarterbacks are so freaking rare. It is the rarest thing in all of sports. It really is. If you go back through any era of football, I don't care what era it is, you're going to find 3 or 4 at any given time that are playing at the same time, and that's it. There's really not that much. So,
the thing too is I go back to Mark Rippon. The way he won the Super Bowl was phenomenal.
Blocking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Right. The guy could toss the ball down the field.
Yeah.
He had 3-4 guys that could go and get it.
Ever.
Yeah.
Great bomb.
So it wasn't like a Trent Dilfer Ravens Super Bowl, where the defense, so that's kind of what I'm looking for at this point. I myself got caught up in the whole, we need a franchise quarterback. We haven't had one in so many years.
Define one.
Right.
What is it?
Right. Look at the history. The guys that I have hanging on my wall are Doug Williams and Mark Rippon, and they weren't franchise quarterbacks, but they were Super Bowl champions. So it's not a franchise quarterback that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
A team. You got to be able to utilize what you have around you. That was the final point about this I made to this fella in this argument about Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Theismann, which wasn't even the argument. Rodgers could come here and win a Super Bowl because he's got a defense that keeps the points down. He should have a quality offensive line to be able to keep people off of him. And he's got a decent running attack and wide receivers. In other words, he'll be able to do what Joe did and use what's around him to win football games.
And I think that's what, go off your point, John, is what Ron's doing. He's trying to build the team. So that last piece is that quarterback. Does it have to be a franchise like a Aaron Rodgers, like a Tom Brady? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. But you got those pieces around you. You got the offensive line. You have the fucking defense. You got the receivers. You got the running backs that all work together like a well-oiled machine and fucking go out and win games. And hopefully, by God's grace, let's get fucking lucky and win a goddamn Super Bowl, because Super Bowls are about luck a lot of the time.
Sure.
Who's hurt? Who's not?
Right. Yeah. And I would actually, to circle back to your point, Jesse, I don't think the quarterback is the last piece. I think the offensive line is our last piece. And I think we truly need an elite offensive line.
Absolutely.
Then you can put an average QB back there and they do numbers the way that Doug Williams did, the way that Mark Rippon did. Maybe not in that similar fashion, but in different ways, if that makes any sense. I just, again, take a look at, when you look at the history, take a look at a team like the Rams, right? When Trent Green was QB before he got hurt. Trent Green was balling, and we all knew, he was a Redskin. He was balling. Then when he got hurt, right, Kurt Warner comes in and has even – well, I don't want to say
he got hurt in preseason.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. I don't want to say that he would have had greater success than Trent Green, but he had success. And that guy was an arena league quarterback at the time.
He was
working at a
groceries before that.
Grocery store, right?
Yeah.
So Warner, you contribute that. I don't want to take anything away from Kurt Warner as a quarterback.
Oh, no, you shouldn't.
But that offensive line was probably one of the best in many years.
Sure.
And he had Hall of Fame receivers as well, and he had a return man, Oz Hakeem, that would put the ball into the other team's territory all the time for him. But I'll tell you what, you could take a wide receiver, run him 80 yards down the field, and have him flip a dime up in the air, and Kurt Warner could hit it. That dude was as accurate as anybody you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and that's a perfect segue to our next topic about the offensive line and what we are seeing Ron do with this offensive line. As you know, we brought in Leno from the Bears. They released him because they drafted a young buck. He did leave without signing a contract, but it's still on the table. Cornelius Lucas wasn't very happy about that, but like you said,
whatever.
Ron
whatever.
Fuck him. Who cares?
No, it's not even that. It's just like, okay, what, you think you're the starter now? You're better than John Christian.
Yeah, you had one goddamn good season. One good season.
Right.
But
you got a draft pick to contend with too, right? We drafted a guy.
Have a fucking tissue. But Ron is breeding competition, and you have to like that.
I love
it. And we have Shaquille Charles, Lucas, Duron Christian, Sam Cosme. Those are all potential tackles right there. Morgan Moses. And I have a theory too. People are asking, and I don't think anybody has said this, or I haven't seen anything on Twitter. One of these guys could be Moses's replacement, maybe after this year.
Can Lucas play swing?
I'm sorry?
I said, can Lucas play swing?
That's what he originally was supposed to be come over here to do was to play swing tackle, because they thought Duron Christian was going to be the starting left tackle, but as we know, that shit has sailed. But he's bringing these guys in because he wants to get better at the offensive line. We know Brandon Sheriff is not going to be here next year. I think
he might.
But
here's the thing.
Maybe. Go ahead. Yeah, we haven't got your take on this.
Sheriff may well sign with us next year. We offered him the highest paid, guard money this time, but no matter what we offered him, it's not high. It's not as high as he's collecting on that tag. Period. His whole motivation is, I'm getting $18 million this year. Period. There's nothing else. So he has no reason to sign any long-term deal right now, because next year he'll hit free agency again with the cap shooting way up. He's guaranteed to make at least getting close to 18 million, right? Yeah. I mean, we're talking a guard here. So he may re-sign with us. I don't think that I think when people see these kinds of things, they instantly think, oh, everything's fucked up. We did it again, and we're just going to run him out of town. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It might mean, okay, I can make more money off you right now by doing this, and then we'll talk again next February or whatever.
Yeah,
that's true. Possible. I mean, this is the second tag, and he's a guard, and
right.
He was our first All-Pro player that we've had in a very very long time. He is off injured though, and that has to play in consideration on the front office, what they're offering him. I just think that Ron's doing whatever he can to beef up this offensive line. And I see people, oh, Lucas did so good last year. He's our starter. Fuck that shit.
He did all right. He did okay.
He was okay. I want these motherfuckers to maul fucking people, man. I want them to get off the line and punch the defensive line in the fucking mouth. Keith, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with that. It looks to me not only are we focused on beefing up the offensive line, but also bolstering the depth too, because we know that, there are guys getting hurt. Well.
Yeah.
Yep. So the bodies are there. Now it's a competition. And, I get Lucas getting on and being upset, but at the end of the day, man, it's a business. Like, you're not new to this business. And if you are, maybe this ain't the business for you, because this is just the way it is. It's always about competition. And if there's competition in those roles, I want competition to be in those roles, because it's going to make people hungrier and fight harder to get a position. If they get their position, then this paves the way for them to get eventually get their contract that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm not I'm not holding a cup, letting your tears drop in my cup. Go out there and earn it. And truthfully, you're not earning it because you love the team. You're earning it because you're trying to take care of your family. And I can respect that, and I get it that this is a job, but it is what it is. Take it for what it's worth and enjoy the experience is the way that I see it.
Well, that is the job. That's why you take all them steroids, right? That's why you bulk up all that HGH. That's why you do that stuff.
Oh, them fat boys aren't taking steroids.
No doubt.
I think you always have to have churn in the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very rarely can you say this is our starting five and this is our starting five for the foreseeable future, because they go down so much. And we've seen how important depth is. So even if you do have your starting five, that this is our guys and these are all number one picks or whatever it is, these are our hogs, so to speak. Behind them, I want churn. I want more turnover. I want people coming in every year to challenge those guys that are behind them. Nobody should be safe except for those five guys. And even them, they should be looking behind them, because, at any point, their knee could go this way.
Sure.
Whatever, anything could happen.
And you're also, bringing the different guys in the, in the O-line that have different skill sets.
Right.
So if Ron Rivera is calling a certain play, if Scherf is not your guy to be in that lineup that's going to execute that play or that block, but you got somebody behind him that is very good at doing that, options are always better than not having options, as we saw during the Jay Gruden era. He had zero options, and this is why we were calling for offensive linemen on Craigslist.
Off the fucking street, picking them up off the street. The goddamn quarterback would meet the offensive lineman in the goddamn huddle for the first fucking time. And
Bruce Allen.
These guys are fucking versatile too. Most of these tackles can play guard as well.
Lucas is a pretty good carpenter.
Hey, you know what? He built my screen and porch last year. Y'all got anything
so on
else?
The interior, being a little more specific on the interior line, left guard, right? Schweitzer, I thought, played okay last year. Yeah. I don't think he was great, but I think he held his own, and I think he's got a nice little bit of animal in him. He's got some maul in him.
Sure.
But we saw Flowers come in and take over that left guard spot and play really well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, okay, now we've got Scherf for the year. He's going to play. He's getting $18 million, period. You're playing if you can't, even if you get out there on your one leg and play.
And there's a 50% chance he'll get hurt too.
Right. So I'm thinking Schweitzer should be moving over to be the backup there. And you got to give Flowers that left guard spot.
Yeah.
You don't risk moving Flowers again to another spot where he looks like he used to in New York.
Yeah, no, right? You're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
Put him where he works.
He was a human turnstile in New York, that's for sure. And then he came over here and Callahan put him at guard and he excelled and he did very, very well. Then we got Shaquille Charles. You got
Sadiq Charles.
I was like, what?
I just like making fun of Jessy.
So we have depth, and this is the first time in a very, very, very long time that I am not worried about the offensive line right now.
No, I'm not either.
So, all right, moving on to our next segment. We are going to take a dive behind enemy lines. We're going to talk about the rest of the NFC East and what they've done this offseason and how they stack up with us. We're going to start in Keith's neck of the woods with the Philadelphia Eagles. They brought in some key free agents they brought in. The big one was Anthony Harris, safety. He came from Minnesota, I believe. He even came over to Ashburn for a visit too. We did not sign him. His dad is the defensive backs coach for us. They also signed Andrew Adams. And another big signing, Joe Flacco is going to be coming in as the backup quarterback, or hell, he might even start.
Lurch is going to play quarterback in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I would love for Chase and Montez to be able to tee off on him. And then linebacker Eric Wilson. Gone is Deshaun Jackson. He went over to the Rams in LA. Malik Jackson and Carson Wentz is no longer a Philadelphia Eagle. They, I guess the biggest sign was Anthony Harris. He's a very, very good safety. Their draft, someone that we're going to have to worry about twice a year is Devonta Smith. Very, very small guy. We're going to have to jam him up against the line. They got him in the first round. They got Landon Dickerson, a guard / center, in the second. Milton Williams in the third, Zach McPherson in the fourth. A good running back from Memphis. This was Antonio Gibson's teammate, Kenneth Gainwell. A defensive end in the sixth, Taron Jackson. A linebacker, Jacoby Stevens, and the rest of them probably won't ever see. But the Philadelphia offseason, they didn't do too much. We saw what a mess they were last year. What we do know is they have a pretty good defense. Projective starters on the defense: Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Avonte Maddox, cornerback, Anthony Harris, and Darius Slade. Those are the key players on the defense for the Eagles. So we know they got a defense. They didn't do too much on offense. Jalen Hurts will be a first-year starter. They got Miles Sanders. Of course, Devonta Smith. Jalen Reagor was their first-round player last year. Travis Fulgham, and then Zach Ertz. Who knows what's going to happen with Zach Ertz? He could come available, and if he does, I'd like to give him a call for us. What do you guys think of the Philadelphia Eagles in their offseason this year?
Go ahead, John.
Thanks for coming. Oh. That's what I'd say to him. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. They didn't do too much.
Well, it's not even their offseason. It's just that their whole team doesn't have any freaking direction, it seems.
Yeah.
I get it. Jalen Hurts, he looked okay in some highlights, but other than that, really not a whole lot.
No,
they're doing scissors rock. I happen to know that if you throw scissors on Smith 3 times out of 5 when he comes off the line, he'll throw paper and you just take him right out of the play.
Yeah, I agree. He's gonna make some plays, but I think you got to jam him. He's small. You can probably push him back with the finger. Keith?
Yeah, so being that I live over here with these assholes, I can tell you most of the fan base was not impressed with the draft.
Yeah.
They, of course, were happy about getting Smith after that. To them, it was just a draft to fill needs. Nothing sexy in there. Again, they have a new head coach. Right now, this team is considered to look like a mess. But more importantly, just due to the leadership being young, trying to come in and take over the mess from last year that happened. So I think that even though this team has a good defense, they're going to rely a lot on Jalen Hurts. They're going to,
the defense is getting older too.
Fletcher Cox is getting older.
Probably in his last year too.
They're going to rely on Jalen Hurts and his legs. They're going to rely on this new rookie receiver. And I think just ultimately overall, they have a basic team, in my opinion. Yes. When you compare them to the other two in the division.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they've got speed on the outside. Yeah. They definitely have speed, but those guys are small, all of them. They haven't been able to stay healthy. That's true. Like Sanders. He's a good back. But is Hurts going to be able to run them? I know I sound all, dismissive. Thanks for coming. But is Jalen Hurts really going to be able to run this team for some? Who's Nick Sirianni? Who is this guy?
Yeah,
Right.
I think they're a few years away. They basically have to start from scratch and just build the team back up. Like I said, they got an aging defense. They do got some good players. They got Darius Slay. He's going to try to lock down one of our receivers, but behind that, they got a good a decent safety in Anthony Harris. But other than that, the team doesn't scare me whatsoever.
And Jalen Hurts just isn't the guy where there's so many. Well, I don't want to say he isn't the guy. There's just so many questions on if he can be the guy.
He's going to make plays here and there, but
of course, because he can do it with his legs. Yeah. He's going to make plays with his legs. He's going to sense the pocket breaking down. He's going to be able to get out of it. He's definitely going to make plays, especially having, Smith as your wide receiver. That's a good bailout. But again, I don't see that type all over the field on both sides of the ball. So, to me, I feel like other teams are going to be able to game plan.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so.
Well, moving on to a team that, they kind of not necessarily scares me a bit, but they beat us twice last year. And they've had a good offseason, and the New York Giants. They signed Leonard Williams to a big extension. He's a very, very good defensive end. They added Kenny Galladay, Adoree Jackson, the cornerback. He's really good. They have projected Ryan Anderson as a starting linebacker. We are very familiar with him. Yeah, and he can rush the passer. Delshon Phillips, Reggie Ragland, Danny Shelton, and they also signed Kyle Rudolph, tight end from Minnesota, as well as the speedy receiver from Cincinnati, John Ross. That's not even including what they did in the draft. So they're trying. They have Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley's coming back off of that devastating injury. Evan Ingram, I think I think Logan Thomas should have won the Pro Bowl nod over him. Evan Ingram doesn't seem like he can catch a cold unless he's playing us. Darius Slayton, Kenny Galladay, and Rudolph are slated to be their starters in the skill positions. And on defense, they have not only, as I mentioned before, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Ryan Anderson, Blake Martinez, James Bradbury, Adoree Jackson, Jabril Peppers, and Logan Ryan. So they are stacked on the defense side of the ball. And they kind of have mirrored us in a way as far as building up their defense. Their defensive line isn't nowhere near as good as ours, but they do have some good pieces. And in the draft, they traded back. I think they were in the 12th position. They traded with the Bears. They got Kadarius Toney. I'm not a fan of him, but I know a lot of people are. He's a wide receiver out of Florida. They got the linebacker Azeez Ojulari from Georgia. Aaron Robinson in the third round, and a couple other people later on in the draft that we probably won't hear of for quite a few years. But the Giants, if Daniel Jones can get out of his own fucking way, they could make some noise. What do you guys think? Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people sleep on Daniel Jones, to be honest. I think that Daniel Jones made a lot of rookie mistakes. Even in his this is his third year, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
he made some dumbass mistakes, laughable mistakes.
That meme where he fucking the turf monster just runs out.
It
makes me laugh the whole time, every time.
That's unbelievable.
It makes me laugh, but he still got free and took off down there. We've seen him do that again.
Oh yeah, he's done that to us plenty of times.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's be honest here. I don't think anyone in this fan base has any room to call Daniel Jones anything, considering that that these people were, sucking off Dwayne sorry ass Haskins.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, they were pissed when they fucking drafted Daniel Jones. They wanted Dwayne Haskins so fucking much during the draft, but the table turned pretty fast.
Yeah.
So, we haven't beat.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I say. So ultimately, when you look at their free agency pickups and their draft picks, it looks like they're trying to solidify their whole team as well. I think they're on the up and up trend too.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that, of course, we can't let that team beat us twice again,
Not
but
even once.
right.
No.
But they're better than they were last year, in my opinion. So I think we're going to have some decent competition with them.
Saquon,
It all depends on Jones.
Yeah,
It really does. I mean, if they say the lights come on in the third year, so if his passing lights come on in the third year, he's going to be a problem.
If he can hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
if Barkley can stay healthy too. I mean,
right. If he doesn't make the mental mistake and throw it to to the defense all the time, he'll be all right. But the thing about them that really makes me nervous is they are well-rounded. Yeah. And Saquon Barkley, he's another world. I want to see if he comes back strong after that knee injury. But before that, like I said, I'm older than you guys. I saw Bo Jackson play, and he's a lot like that.
Because once tree trunks, Bo had them tree trunks too. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The speed. He wasn't just a plow straight ahead guy. I mean, we've seen Barkley take our defense.
Oh yeah,
the last defense.
Yeah,
Minuski's defense, and just shred it, just open it up and.
He took him behind the barn and raped him.
We've seen a lot of teams do that too.
Right. So if his knee comes back strong and he can still do that kind of stuff, yeah, man, that's a really scary team. And I hate them. I hate them more than any other team in the league.
I just somebody put out on Twitter, I think it was earlier today, which team would you rather sweep this year? And I voted on the Giants just because I can't stand their fucking fans, for one. Because every time something comes up about us winning the division, but we still beat y'all twice. That's what they have. That's what they have to fucking come back. And I'm just fucking
the Buffalo Bills excuse.
Yeah,
at least we were there.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy too because of where I live. In Jersey. I mean, I'm in Eagles country, but 45 minutes up the road begins New York Giants. So it's crazy to see the difference of the fans, but they're all assholes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think, I used to, Philly fans were like the worst for me ever until probably about 5 years ago, 6 or 4 years ago. And then New York fans, I can't stand New York fans. They're obnoxious as hell. And they ain't done shit, either. Yeah, I think they're a team that worries me, and we're going to see what happens because I think they're going to be neck and neck. I think Dallas, us, and New York is going to be heading into week 16, 17, 18, fighting for the division. And I guess we're going to have to see. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys, the team that we love to hate. I think. The biggest thing coming out of the Cowboys, out of Dallas this year is Dak's coming back. We got to see if he's healthy. What's going on with that leg? We heard from Jerry last week. He said he was looking good, but we're gonna have to see for ourselves. They hired Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator, but we all saw how his defense was in Atlanta. Which was pretty much non-existent, but he did head up the Legion of Boom era in Seattle. Before that, they signed Keanu Neal that for a 1 year deal, $5 million. That his possibility that he's actually going to move to linebacker. He had been playing safety for the Falcons, but. Other than that, Terrell Basham, they signed from the Jets, a defensive end. He's had 7.5 sacks in 58 games. So not too much. Oh, wait, they did sign Ty Nsekhe. And we all are very familiar with Ty Nsekhe. And a couple 1 year guys, bottom roster fill out guys. Carlos Watkins, defensive end from Houston as well. In their draft, they drafted Micah Parsons, Mika, which is a very, very good player. A player that if he would have dropped to Washington, that I probably would have taken over Jamin Davis. And then this is where all the questionable picks come in. They what many feel like they reached on Kelvin Joseph, a cornerback. Another in the second round, and a lot of people had him rate him in the 4th or 5th round, which is good for us. A defensive tackle, Osa, I can't pronounce his last name. And then Jabril Cox, they got him in the 4th round. They only drafted out of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players. They drafted 3 offensive players. We know about Dallas's offense. They got firepower. They have Ezekiel Elliott. They have Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Their tight ends could use some help. So what they do, they picked up Jeremy Sprinkle. That was gonna be a smart ass comment, but I can't.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. I guess he's gonna be tied in 2 with Blake Jarwin. But they really need their defense has been putrid the past few years. They went heavy on defense in the draft, and the only player that I can see that they picked up on offense in free agency was offensive tackle Ty Nsekhe. Their offensive line. We know that they've been good the past few years. Last year, they had a lot of injuries, but they're supposed to be coming back intact.
They've had a lot of injuries a lot of years.
That's true. That's true.
They're all having injuries.
We know that they can produce offense. Their defense has been a sieve. Returners, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory. They got the rookie, this projected starting at the Mike linebacker and Micah Parsons. We know the weak side linebacker, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch is coming back, but they did not do his 5th-year option, which I thought was interesting. I think Leighton is a good linebacker. Sean Lee is retired, so no more. He played like 1 game a year anyways because he was always concussed. They got Reggie Robinson at free safety, Donovan Wilson at strong safety. The rookie is Kelvin Jones is slated to start. They got Travion Diggs, which we saw Terry McLaurin kind of torch last year, and then Jordan Lewis. Their defense to me still needs work. They brought in Dan Quinn. I'm not sure how good he's going to do because the seasons he's been with Atlanta, their defenses have totally been shit. So it's probably a good thing for us. But their offense, on the other hand, does scare me. What do you guys say, John?
Fuck it. We're going to the goddamn Super Bowl. Isn't that what they always say? I saw that on ESPN the other day. They're picking them to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're picking them or not, but we know at least half of their analysts will. It depends on the defense. It does. It depends on the defense and whether or not Dan Quinn can turn them into anything. Because if they can't, you're going to have to shoot it out with them. So in that regard, they can shoot it out. They've got speed all over the damn place. They could put up 35 a game easily if Dak stays healthy. So that's, to me, the goal there to try to beat the Cowboys is you're going to have to score, and you're going to have to score a lot. Thankfully, their defense should be very accommodating.
Yeah, I agree. Keith?
Yeah, you can take a look at their draft and kind of get an idea that they're sizing up the other teams in the NFC East. In my opinion, they have to bolster up on that side of the ball, because there's some offenses, that are coming for them. Also, there's some nuggets out there about Parsons that really hasn't been, dropped too much. And I think people are just waiting to see what's going to happen before they start dropping. But Parsons, I've been told, doesn't really necessarily have the highest football IQ. That being on Penn State, he was actually being told where to line up most of the time. It was his athletic ability that actually got him through that process. So again, that's a nugget. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's absolutely true. But if that were true, then I think that that's a huge downfall when it comes
especially
to
them
Parsons.
slating him at the Mike linebacker too. Because
there's a reason why he dropped. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like another number 11 linebacker from Penn State.
Yeah,
all true. World athleticism, really.
Yeah.
What
I mean, he made some plays, I guess.
what pick was Parsons at?
He was
10th.
10th. Yeah.
Oh, he was
10th or
10th.
Or no,
11th.
no, excuse me, 12th because they traded down.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
12th.
Yeah, Dallas. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm an idiot. I didn't mean to say that's the reason why he dropped, but I have a feeling that in the offseason, a lot of people weren't putting him up there in the draft because of that. But we'll see. Like I said, a lot of this shit I talk out of my ass, but I can't help, when people are dropping, information, but I'm not going to put nuggets out there that I feel could be detrimental. Not saying that I'm anybody special and that anybody would believe my ass anyways. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to be that Ben Albright that talks about red flags on players and then you see what happens.
Yeah.
Not saying that I even come close to that type of status, because I don't, but just some things to me aren't important to put out in the public,
Sure.
because if I personally have never seen it, I'm not going to be the one to talk about it.
I don't care if he got caught on video fucking a baby goat.
Yeah.
Plays in preseason. A lot of people's going to want them number 11 jerseys.
Yeah.
That's
three
true.
M's, boys.
It was the 3 M's.
Marketing, merchandise, and motherfucking rednecks.
There you go. There you go. Comparing the off seasons to what we did, I think the Giants, they did very well this off season. I still think that we had the better off season, and I'm trying not to be biased here, but I honestly do, through the draft and what we did in the draft and what we did through free agency. I think we went out and we got players that we absolutely needed to fill the holes that needed to be filled. No, we did not get the quarterback that we wanted, but we did get a quarterback that is going to be better than anything that was on the field last year. So that's only a plus in my book. Is he going to light up the scoreboard? Occasionally he's going to probably throw, have a couple 3 touchdown games, but he might have a 3 interception game.
No.
Hopefully not. But we got a good receiver in Curtis Samuel. We got a very, very good defensive back in William Jackson. We filled a major hole at linebacker with Jamin Davis. And we're still not done yet. We just brought in a safety and a offensive tackle. And I think, with the quality of players and pieces that we're putting in, I think we put us at number 1 in the division with the offseason. What do you guys think?
I think one of the most important things that you keep hearing about all of these players when they come to talk to us and eventually sign with us or are drafted by us is how impressed they are with Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge asset. What he's building and the way he's able to connect with these players, I think really is important. So, yeah, I think we had a great offseason, but I'm one of these people that should's a gigantic word. We should be fine. But who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Right? We can't tell anything in May,
That's true.
which is not going to stop anybody with all their goddamn mock schedules and starting after tomorrow. Well, we're going to win 10 games, and that's the end of that.
Gee,
Fucking losers.
have you done your mock schedule yet?
Fuck a mock schedule. Gee, I don't even know how
what the fuck is going on with these mock fucking schedules.
Bro, I don't even know how people have enough time in the day to even sit there and do that shit. And then you got these assholes that get paid to do this kind of dumb shit, and then people sit there and soak it up too. Like, there was arguments going on Threads based upon
made up bullshit.
Yeah, made up bullshit.
Yeah,
we're arguing over made up bullshit. Like, I just don't have time for it.
I'm at work listening to sports talk radio, and every fucking show that I listened to, someone was doing a fucking mock schedule. Okay, yeah. Since when was the schedule a big deal? We already know who the fuck we're playing. Okay,
the NFL does everything big. Everything is big now. Everything.
That's so fucking stupid.
Because they make money, man. Because that show that releases the schedule is going to have 1 million people watching it. That's why.
Well, you remember before the pandemic, I mean, they were hyping up the combine. That became a televised event. Like, just everything.
Right,
everything the NFL does, they sensationalize it. It's insane.
And we love it. We eat it up. Why
Yeah,
not?
sure. People
I
they
love
do
the NFL.
eat it up, but if I hear one more fucking mock schedule before the actual schedule comes out, I'm gonna fucking throw my fucking phone out the goddamn window.
Well, I can tell you
I'm
this
gonna-
though. I can tell you this though. I mean, I did enjoy watching the combine when the dude was running and his dick fell out of his pants.
He said, "My dick fell out."
I mean, he literally said his dick fell out. I mean, to me, that's pure comedy. You know, I'm
done
not
my
into
mock-
looking. I'm not into looking at other dudes' dicks. I just think it's funny that the guy's running a 40 and his dick falls out. It's just insane to me.
John, what
Yeah,
are you saying?
it didn't happen to Rich Eisen. That would have been the best part.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Now I've done a mock preseason game 2 lineup if anybody's interested.
Okay, yeah, we'll check that out.
For the Chargers.
Maybe we'll do that live on our next week's podcast.
Fantasy
That's
mock
right.
draft.
And fucking I don't know if I said this last week or not, but stop with the fucking 2022 mock fucking drafts already. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. It's ridiculous. Everybody's mocking which quarterback's going where. Fucking the 2021 draft is just fucking over with. Give me a fucking month, man. Give me a fucking month. All right, our next segment is that Keith's Corner. Y'all all know and love what Keith has to say. So I'm going to give the mic. Actually, y'all probably don't love what Keith has to say. I'm going to have to take that back because he says a lot of bullshit. But the corner is yours, Keith.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a shout out to the local media for sensationalizing and talking about Colt Brennan's death today. And, this is not in light or trying to, make anybody feel a type of way. I mean, the situation is what it is. Colt Brennan, had some struggles in his life. And I do hope that, his family can find peace through this. But the media were just eating this story up. And then here they are giving all these heartfelt stories about the one training camp that they spent with Colt Brennan. I don't know, but back in 2008, if any of you paid attention, but the media was the one that destroyed that man, destroyed him, all in the media about how terrible of a quarterback he is. And then here we are years later, they're telling all these beautiful stories about him. Local media just needs to stay out of this one. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, they were a part of destroying this young man back in the day. And then here we are, we're like, we're so sorry, Colt Brennan. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not. You're not sorry about anything. You just want to put it out there and be like everyone else, be the fucking trend and talk about something because there's obviously nothing else going on currently right now. And I just hate the media so much, man. I really do. And this isn't even an angry thing. It's just, I've read a couple people, and then it's funny because I go back and I research back in that time frame, and you see all the negative stuff that they're saying, the same person. And I'm like, man, I really want to put these two together and actually put it out there and make them look like assholes. I just can't stand how the media works. And I mean, I know it's no different than anything else, but the shit that they said about this man, they destroyed this man. They just, they destroyed his career because he wasn't what folks thought he was going to be, when he came to this team. And now they want to, kiss and feel sorry for him. Stop it. Like, you over fucking do it. Just say, prayers out to the family and move on is the way that I see it. And that's all I got for my corner.
I hear you.
It's well said.
Yeah,
it's hypocritical. Like, that's just
right.
It's the hypocritical shit. Like, why is it okay to talk about someone's career and make them look horrible out in the media for everyone to read, but then you want to come and love the guy because he passed away? Nah, his family's not interested in your thoughts and prayers. What you should be saying in these tweets is, I hope the family can find peace because he did have a troubled life. I mean, all you have to do is Google search. I mean, he had, trouble with alcohol last year, in 2020. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I hope his family finds peace through all of this, but I hope they don't read the media because they're all hypocrites.
Yeah. I have to tend to agree with you on that. That's for sure. Well, since Keith didn't get angry, it wasn't one of his angry rants. I'm going to. I mean, and I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and I kind of gave it time to see if it bothered me less, but it doesn't. It really bothers me, so I'm going to go out and say it. When I started this podcast, one of the things that you have to do is come up with the name of the podcast. I think that's pretty goddamn important. But I wanted to be, different from anything else. And I spent a lot of time on picking the name of this podcast. I did a lot of research. I had probably almost 50 different names that I had thought of, and that could have been the name of this podcast. But what I didn't want to do is have a name close to any other podcast that was out there, like any other. It was nothing like it, nothing. And I did the research. I had to throw names out that I liked better than the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, because it was too close to another podcast. There's a lot of football podcasts out there for different teams. The closest, when I did my research, was the Bleeding Green Nation. That is a Philadelphia Eagles podcast,
which they're very popular.
They are. They absolutely are. I almost did not name this the Bleeding Burgundy podcast because of the word bleeding in the Bleeding Green Nation. I was like, man, I really had to wrestle with that for a while. But it came down to, I was like, okay, it's a Bleeding Green, Bleeding Burgundy. It's a different team. I'm okay. But goddamn, if it's not a couple months after I start this podcast, another podcast comes up. I don't know this podcast. I don't know the people. Doesn't make a difference. It's one word off. The Bleeding Burgundy and Gold podcast. Buddy, whoever you are, I mean, come on now. Have a little couth, man. Try to have a little respect. That's all I'm gonna say. Fucking change your goddamn fucking name. Seriously. Well, I mean, goddamn, come the fuck on.
The interesting thing is this though, too, Jesse, and I kind of touched base a little bit about this on Twitter. I'm noticing some trends that are happening, and I'm not really saying anything about it because I'm not ready for the podcast wars yet, right? And I say yet because
you're gonna come.
It's gonna happen, and the reason the reason it's gonna happen is because I'm gonna make it happen, because it's just what I do.
You're gonna push a button, because that's what he said. He pushes buttons.
I'm gonna push a button or two. I am, and it's gonna be all in good fun. But my thing is this: people. I get your point about the name, right? Because you remember when you asked me, we almost thought about changing the name to Bleeding Burgundy and Trolled.
Yeah.
Right. And then Trolled represents me. It's what I usually do. Yeah. I haven't done it in a lot, but we just felt like that wasn't a good name if we're trying to bring guests on the show. Right. And so I was like, all right. I don't think anyone's interested in that. So the troll, yeah. So we nixed that. I think at the end of the day, what it means is, and I know you're upset about the name, kind of looking the same as this one, but it's really who you have behind the mic.
That's true.
And I think that we've got the talent behind the mic to be able to distinguish the difference between both. So I don't necessarily think that we have to worry about that. People also will never give you your props. I don't care how much they say we're family, we're a podcast family, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. People will never give you your props for creativity.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So everything that we do moving forward definitely has to be where it's over the top, creative, and fun. If we're going to be different from all of these other podcasts, and people
don't worry.
Oh, I know. And people are afraid of that.
Yeah.
And no one's ever going to give you their props, because there are people right now that are holding certain trophies.
What trophies?
Yeah.
Here's your goddamn McDonald's cup, buddy. Whatever.
Exactly. And I just look at it like this. You either listen or you don't.
Yeah.
Fine with me, right? Like, I don't give a shit. But I can tell you by some of the numbers that we've been reaching, which are not like crazy, out
But
of the
people are
ordinary
listening.
numbers.
Trust me.
It's the off season still too.
Yeah.
It's deep in the off season. It's the dead time.
And the thing is Jesse and I never ask each other, hey, what were the numbers? We just get on here. And like I said, at the end of the day, if you want to listen, great, we're here. If you don't, go listen to someone else. I personally don't give a fuck. I'm just here, like the two of you are, to talk about something that we both enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, having done a podcast for 15 freaking seasons, it got to be pretty obvious pretty soon that there are going to be people that are going to try to troll you, pick on you, to jump on your coattails.
Right.
All right. And use your audience to try to move into their own. I just always ignore it. I figure it this way. This is something I've never done, which is a podcast devoted basically to one team. And if there's 100 Redskins podcasts or Washington football team podcasts, that means there's 100 people talking about the same exact thing every day. So it's all a matter of who you want to hear. All right. Right now, you were talking about the DC media. Okay. DC radio is dreck. It's just garbage. I like Sheehan, but man, I'll tell you what, I would much rather listen to Al Galdi.
Oh yeah, God.
I'd rather listen to him 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
So that doesn't. I mean, I like Kevin Sheehan, but the rest of that station is just bullshit anymore. I don't really care. So people listen to whatever you want, and I think what you'll get with this podcast, you're going to get that creativity, you're going to get that fun, because aside from what we do, maybe some fun bits like we've done with Jerry, we're also. Once I'm new to this, you guys really haven't gotten to know me too well yet. So as this goes along and we get better at what we're doing and we get more comfortable with each other.
Oh yeah.
Come on, tune in. You'll have some fun. Or you can go listen to the other guy talk about the same thing in a much less.
Exactly. And that's one of the main reasons why, I reached out to Keith is I wanted something different, and just, his personality on Twitter, it's different, and people love to hate Keith in ways, but it's not like I hate I hate that guy. It's hate in just some of the things that he says, and I think I thought that he was my number one. I had a list. I had a few people that I wanted to reach out to, and he was the number one on the list, and luckily enough, we worked it out, and I didn't have to call anybody else. So
just between you and me, I noticed he couldn't say that one offensive lineman's name very well, but he could pronounce Cox very easily.
Oh shit!
He got that one on the first try.
Yeah, he did.
All right, you assholes have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good. Yep. Rest in peace, RFK.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm glad some of the old players got to go and take pictures. It was good. It was good to see that. I haven't digested it that yet. Like me, it brings a lot of stuff back. Me and my grandfather, we built our relationship at that stadium when I was younger. But that's a story for another day. Oh, that's going to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said I went many times. One of the first times I went, I got to pour popcorn on Jim Zorn.
Oh, nice.
The Seahawks, when they were their first season, they came to RFK and they beat us 14-0.
Oh,
it was just, I know.
Well, at least you got to throw popcorn on Jim Zorn.
Well, I was down in the corner of the end zone in like the first row, and I don't know, I guess I'm like 13 or so. There was a great punt return by Mike Nelms. It didn't score, but it was a great punt return. But other than that, it was just a boring game, and Zorn ran a quarterback sneak into the corner of the end zone where I was, and he comes running up. I just dump popcorn.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to dump soda on the guy. I'm not a dick. But
All right. Well, that's going to be it for this week's episode of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. For myself, Keith, and John. You can catch us on Google Podcasts, Apple Pods, pretty much every platform. Check us out on YouTube, and hit the subscribe and like button. Leave us a comment, and come check us out. We're on most Tuesdays. You can catch me at Jesse's 24 on Twitter. Keith is at KG Skins 26, and John is at Bang Radio Hour. If you have any questions about the podcast or any topics you'd like us to talk about, don't be afraid to slide into our DMs. If you want to make fun of Keith in any way possible, go ahead and send me a message and I'll read it out loud on the podcast as well.
Hey, Jesse.
Yes, sir.
If you were a female, I could never sleep with you.
Why is that?
Because you talk too fucking much, man. I just want to fucking roll over. Jesus.
We'll see y'all next week. Hail to the team.
See you.
Hail.
Motherfuckers.